The Simple Suit, a story about George Clooney. The elite private jet airport in Los Angeles was shining under the usual sunny sky. Celebrities, businessmen, politicians, and wealthy travelers often came and went from this terminal. But that day was different. At the VIP terminal, the door opened and a man in a plain suit walked in. He wasn't wearing anything flashy, just old blue jeans, a gray blazer, and sunglasses. His hair was slightly graying, his beard clean-shaven, and nothing about his clothes screamed celebrity. "Hey, are you sure you're in the right place?" asked a young airport staff member, checking passenger registrations. He looked at the man with a smirk. "This is the VIP lounge, sir. Most people arrive here in Bentleys or Teslas, not on an old bicycle." "I'm in the right place. I have a flight to New York at 10:45, the man replied calmly. The staff member checked his documents, but still seemed suspicious. Name, George Clooney. The photo matched the man in front of him, but the staff member didn't recognize him. He couldn't imagine this plain-looking man was the world-famous actor and director. "Really? You're that George Clooney from Ocean's 11, up in the air. If I were pretending, you'd be calling the police, right?" George replied with a small smile. The staff member fell silent, but he still didn't trust it. Just then, an older coworker named Rick walked up. He immediately recognized George. "Mr. Clooney, welcome. How are you today?" The young staff member was shocked. This is the George Clooney? From all those movies?" "Exactly," Rick said, smiling. The young man's face went pale. Just minutes ago, he had mocked one of the most well-known stars in the world, and now it was too late to take it back. "I'm so sorry, Mr. Clooney. I didn't recognize you." "That's all right," George said. "Life's like that. Some people judge by appearances. But remember, a man's coat doesn't tell you what kind of heart he has." That moment became a life lesson for the young worker. He later told his friends the story and carried the message with him forever. Never judge a person by their looks. Would you like a title card or poster-style image with this story text in English on it? Simple Suit, Part 2, The Argument and a Lifelong Lesson. As George Clooney entered the lounge and took his seat, the young staff member, Tim, was still in shock. His face was red with embarrassment, and he kept his eyes to the ground, arms folded. But inside, he was struggling deeply. Slowly, he approached George. His face flushed, and he looked like he was about to cry. "Mr. Clooney, I really want to apologize, not just for not recognizing you, but for judging you as a person. I don't know why I assumed things based on your clothes." George looked at him silently for a moment. Behind his glasses, his eyes were serious. Then he answered calmly but firmly, "Tim, this isn't the first time. Many people judge by appearances and forget what's inside. You're not alone in that." But those words only made Tim feel more ashamed. "Even so, I insulted you. I treat VIP customers with a smile, but I mocked you. I feel so ashamed I can't even lift my head." George stood up and walked over to him. "Tim," he said, raising his voice a little, "if I weren't famous, you would have treated me the same way. So the problem isn't with my name, it's with your mindset. But now you realize it. That's good. Just remember, shame is temporary, but the lesson is forever." Just then, another guest, an internationally famous businessman, entered the lounge. Tim rushed over to him, smiling and offering enthusiastic service. George noticed, shook his head slightly, and muttered, "Would you treat him the same if he looked ordinary?" Tim stopped. He stood still for a few moments, silent. Then he slowly returned to George, sat beside him, and looked him in the eyes. "I'll change. I understand now. You've woken me up." George put a hand on his shoulder. "Fame doesn't matter to me. What matters is character. And moments like this, these are why I'm here." Tim never forgot that day. And as George boarded his jet, he whispered to himself, "There are thousands of Tims out there. Sometimes one argument, one moment of shame, can change a person's heart forever." Let me know if you want the next part of the story or a title image in English.